morning. Welcome to another fresh edition of Inside Nigeria. And here's wishing Nigerians all over the world happy Independence Anniversary. Nigeria celebrated 63 years yesterday of its existence. And of course, we are still basking in that euphoria of celebration. We have some papers for review this morning, and of course, as you can see, we have in the studio our model guest is a political analyst and a public affairs analyst, Dr. Ali Elias. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Independence Anniversary.
Same here to you. It's now 63rd. That's a good one.
How did you celebrate your independence?
Well, I was just glued to my TV to see what's happening and the new information from the president.
Okay, that's good one. Let's first of all take a roundup of the headline stories on some select newspapers today. And of course, as usual in the program, we like to start off with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. Leadership leads with a story on labor. 60 days to go. Federal government turns heat on MDs of Warri, Port Harcourt refineries. 60 days to go. Federal government turns heat on MDs of Warri, Port Harcourt refineries. Threatens to wield the big stick over December deadline. Upbeat local production with hot forest prices. Refineries to produce 160 barrels per day. I'll say that again. 60 days to go. Federal government turns heat on MDs of Warri, Port Harcourt refineries. Threatens to wield the big stick over December deadline. Upbeat local production with hot forest prices. Refineries to produce 160 barrels per day. And beneath that, we have the picture of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, flanked by his vice president, Speaker of House of Representatives and Senate President, and the CJN quoting Nigeria's 63rd birthday anniversary yesterday. Besides that, we had other stories. Ileba wins BB Niger All Stars edition after 3 months in the house. BUA crashes cement price to 3,500 naira per bag. No stay of execution on Tinubu's Chicago record, U.S. court. And we move up where we have strike. Labor meets over provisional pay offer for Workers' Day. The story continues on page 7 of Leadership. Nigeria's $30 for 30 days minimum wage extremely poor, SCCI. That is the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Nigeria's $30 for 30 days minimum wage extremely poor, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry says. 20th dead in Delta tanker explosion. No 50 billion naira plea bargain with detained Emefiele federal government. From this cover, we move over to the page 3 of the paper where we have our stand. Our stand is the editorial of the paper. Our stand today says, as the world celebrates senior citizens. As the world celebrates senior citizens. And from this, we move over to the back page of the paper where we have Monday column with the Kuku beat side. Nigeria 63 resolving diversity issues. All right. So that is what we can take on Leadership. Let's move over to what is at stake today. And of course, the trending one, that is Nigeria at 63.
Right. Well, it's a good thing that we are at 63.
We've actually come of age, 63 years of age. Nigeria is 63 years of age. And from your own assessment, how far would you say Nigeria has gone?
Well, if you ask me, before we have 4 regions. From 4 regions, we moved to 12 states. From 12, I think we moved to 19 states. From 19, we now have 36 plus FCT. So it's a
or 37 states.
Or 37, to the new tribunal now. So if you look at that trajectory, we have actually expanded. We have moved. We have had more infrastructure, more states. A lot of things has come in compared to where we were before. Our only challenge in Nigeria has been the security and economic challenge. So yes, we have moved beyond where we used to be, but we still have attendant security challenge and economic challenge, and that's our reality today as a Nigerian.
Okay. Many people have also given opinion that the bane of Nigeria's development has been its leaders. Is it that Nigeria has not been fortunate to have good leaders that are actually have the the wherewithal of his citizenry in heart to do what is obtainable?
Oh, truly, we have deficit leadership. I must tell you this. I don't know, maybe there is a reason to also the way we recruit our leaders. But sometimes you won't blame the leader too, because every leader comes out of the followership. Yes. So I think it's in Nigeria.
And there's a saying too that every country or every leader, they deserve the kind of leaders that they have.
Exactly. Because
so would you say that?
Yes, if you recall. Okay, let's even look at it democratically. Now, APC was there when PDP was in power, and APC always say PDP do this, PDP do that. Now it is town of APC now. You see that the same thing is still occurring. So should it be our recruitment process, or our governance, or our constitution? So if you now ask me from one point of view, I think our major problem is our constitution. Because constitution has bound us together. It has given us what to do and what. So I think we should find way of stop beating the constitution and have real Nigerian democracy constitution that will allow maybe state police, that will allow development from the local.
We are talking about restructuring.
Exactly. There's a need for restructuring. So if we had this constitution handed over to us in 1998 to 1999 for to start our fourth republic, by now we should be able to stop beating and have a holistic view of this constitution and have a workable constitution that will take us to the where we need to be by now. Because if you look at our contemporaries, look at Malaysia, look at Singapore, look at Brazil, Argentina, it's got that they are not where they left us at all. In fact, they have gone far in terms of development. And some of us, we also say we have big population. What about India that have 900 million population? What about China that is over 1 billion population? Yes, and China still remain one of the best economy globally. And they have to not really delink, but delink a bit to really make sure that they package themselves. And now globally, tell me in the world, what sector will you not find a Chinese man?
Okay. Now you talk about restructuring. The issue of restructuring has always been met with a stiff opposition from some sections of the country. Now, how can we actually achieve that? Because we saw that during the APC's campaign during the 2014, the campaigns that brought in the elections that brought in President Muhammadu Buhari to power, they actually said they were going to go for restructuring. But at the end of the day, the former president Buhari told us that no, he never supported restructuring. So how is the best way to go about it? Because we have the National Assembly again, we also have these sessions of these people represented, and they are always against when it comes to restructuring.
You recall during Jonathan there was a conference.
Yes.
I don't know. Confab. There was a confab that talks about bringing Nigerians together. Yes. Then thereafter,
it was not implemented.
It was not implemented. That's a serious problem. Then we also have Buhari. Now, Buhari will always tell you that it's not my own thing. Go to National Assembly. So we'll take that back to National Assembly. If you have to restructure Nigeria, I think National Assembly still remain, because every time they think and walk around the constitution instead of them to have holistic one. So I think at this point in time, the ball is the court of National Assembly. Perhaps, we have a best time now in government. You know why? Our current president was a senator. Our vice president was a senator. The first lady was a senator. You look at all this. Even the secretary general to the federation was a senator too. So I think this is the best time for the National Assembly to rub man with the executive and give us a workable, structure that could engender development in Nigeria. Because when we talk about structure, even our federalism is a problem now. Look at local government is not functioning as we expected. State has taken over local government. So until we have this autonomy, remember, even Buhari decided to sign a bill.
Yes, executive bill
that they should, but it's still not possible. So National Assembly needs to do something that will make the local government receive their money directly, implement directly, and development will start. I think that's what we need now.
All right, thank you. Now, one of the issues also bedeviling the Nigerian economy is the issue of corruption and insecurity. Corruption. That is what many people say that we kill Nigeria. Apologies to former President Muhammadu Buhari, and of course APC rode on that mantra that they are coming to kill corruption. At the end of the day, we saw that corruption actually won, and it's still winning. What can be done about it?
Well, if you look at the Tinubu 8-point agenda, the last one is still corruption. We want to kill corruption, but corruption is more systematic. Most of us, we always look at financial corruption. Meanwhile, corruption is
It's a
beyond
holistic,
that.
yes.
Is beyond that. It's an omnibus that you must find way of taming it at every area. Nepotism is
it
a
is.
form of corruption.
Yes.
Favoritism is a form of corruption.
It
If you look at it now, even some people are even saying now that it is Lagos Boys administration now. You know, because when
But we also saw that during the former president Buhari's administration, that every
some will
sector
claim
put,
during Jonathan too that
yes.
it was much more of Easterner
Okay.
in power. So this is what we must now start to look at it very, very well. Do we want somebody who came from nowhere? We don't. Do we mind people from anywhere that will come and develop, or we must have people from area? Nigeria has developed that there is no profession you are looking for in a particular state that you cannot find. So we need to start taming that issue of corruption. Look at Emefiele now. If you look at Emefiele very well, Emefiele actually derailed from the work of CBN. In fact, he even ventured into anchor borrower, do a lot of things. So we must find way to say it's not because president likes me, or I should always do the right thing
I'm from
at
the
the right
president's zone.
Exactly. So these are the things that we need to start looking at.
A lot of thoughts also go into that corruption, tackling the issue of tackling corruption, and many also have the opinion that, like President Olusegun Obasanjo once said, that if you have a strong system in place, that can help to tackle all these negativity.
I think systemic corruption is what we actually have truly. We are building people, not building institutions. Until our institution have that power, that even though if you are a president, you must follow the institution and the stated processes.
Because
so these are the
recently I was in company of a retired director, of course, of a federal civil service, and another one who is also still in the service. I made mention the fact that behind that every successful failed government, it is civil service, that it's civil servants that actually helped these politicians on how to look, because they are the one to tell them, oh, look at how to go about it. And of course, you can imagine what I got in return. They almost had my head up because I forgot that I was
in the midst.
I know them, and that is exactly my thought. What do you think? Because a minister does not have access to the till. Is the permanent secretary that is the chief accounting officer of a ministry.
Perhaps a minister
because Nigeria has beautiful laws.
A minister is not executive leader. The operationalization itself is a civil servant headed by permanent secretary, and they understand it very well.
Yes.
If they want everything to work, they know how to work. Okay, a case in studies. Look at what happened in the Ministry of Works. David Umahi.
Yes.
They told him that no, because I even listened to one of their comrades talking. He said, he said you came and you are just giving us bad name. You don't even respect us. Imagine. That's how you know how powerful. In fact, he has to beg them that I'm sorry. I don't know if you watched that video. He has to tender apology. Yes. That's how powerful the civil servant is. And I think our civil servants are most trained civil servants. I must tell you this. If they actually want to do their work, they know what to do. But the problem is that they also are enmeshed in corruption itself, because they also even show people that are executive how to actually go about all this, and that's our major problem. So we must look at that very. I mean, Obasanjo actually tried. Remember, he downsized and he made sure they are much more professional. Before Obasanjo, it seems someone cannot even afford the car. But when he came and make sure he structured everything, they became much more.
Even anti-corruption agencies. It was Obasanjo that said.
That's what I'm saying.
ICPC,
even CCB. A lot of them. And if you look at even up till now, I think in this Fourth Republic, we still give it to Obasanjo because he created a lot NHIS. How many do you want to count? And that's why we said consolidation. Even consolidation is pretty difficult for some of our past presidents to even do very well.
No, why we also find it difficult to put laws in place to also fight against this corruption, because we've seen that some officials, government officials and appointees, they actually practically go with just a slap on the wrist.
Well, the fact remains that we have a lot of laws.
For instance, I don't know how true it is Emefiele on this Emefiele issue, and there have been reports that it's a plea bargain with federal government, 50 billion naira plea bargain.
Well, he's not the first person that do plea bargain. We have governors, even one governor from Edo. I remember that time. Is it been done? They have to do plea,
and they just gave him 1 million.
They have to do plea bargain. So it's something that is reoccurring every time. But for me, I think that plea bargain is even giving them more opportunity.
Exactly.
Don't you think after all the issues, then I do plea bargain when somebody have messed up with 1 trillion, you are doing plea bargain of 50 billion. So that's a serious issue. But for Emefiele too, corruption has to be taken holistically from the president. Remember that even our president, our former president, Buhari, actually engage in ways and means and collect from this very CBN beyond the agreed 5% of the preceding year. They have abused right from his office.
Yes.
So if he can be abused from that top, what will happen down? So every president who wants to really tackle corruption should tackle it from his own points. By so doing, and we're thinking Buhari will bring that body language because he has that. Remember when he became president, everybody takes their money in septic tank. They travel, people travel, everybody. But the
body language did not work.
So we need practical ability of these processes, and it's very, very key.
So what is the way out of this logjam? Because we keep talking about shorting ourselves horse with corruption. And at the end of the day, corruption has become so endemic in every sector.
We need to strengthen our institution. Once somebody, remember, there's some country, once they caught you and you're corrupt, they truly see you are corrupt, they will kill you.
Yeah.
You know, because you know when somebody actually embark on corruption, it kills people. You know, the negative part is very enormous.
Because monies are meant for development are diverted into personal purse. At the end of the day,
and say one plea bargain of how much. Remember, if you even look at Nefili, a lot of things has been said that he has attributed to him, and I want him to even answer the question. But if you recall, I don't think people are giving work for him because if you listen to Tinubu yesterday, Tinubu mentioned CBN and he said there is an investigation that is ongoing that will tackle future occurrence of such. So I don't think he will go with that plea bargain. But let's see how it turns out.
All right, thank you so much. Now, well, in case you're just joining us, we are still looking at Nigeria as 63. How whither has the country gone? How far has the country gone? And I want to talk to you on the issue of the health sector. Health is very, very critical because we saw the past President Muhammad Buhari always on medical tourism outside the shores of the country to seek for medical help. And we are also having the same president almost doing the same thing. What can be done in our health sector? 63 years.
Right. I think that's one of the things we are not getting well. If you go to America now, the best doctors are Nigerians. Go to UK, the best doctor are, but yet in our home, we find it difficult to really develop and to have that standard. So the onus is on this new minister because he has the international recognition for being a very and he has been saying it that he will do something. So we are expecting him to do a lot. However, look at primary health care. Primary health care, you know, the smallest one. You still go some area, even in the FCT, you see that there is no presence of such things. So I think this is where we need to start from, because you know, this social infrastructure, you see education, you see health, they're not something we should be begging for. And that's why when they said,
you know, this primary health care that you mentioned, care centers you mentioned, it actually falls under the purview of a local government,
right?
But not that local government chairman, they are not autonomous.
Active. Yes, they don't have the
money
power.
Is taken by the state governments, who disburses as when he feels like. So what is actually going to happen? Because it's supposed to be from top to bottom. We have a primary health care, secondary health care, and tertiary health care.
Exactly.
Tertiary health care falls under the purview of federal government. And even in our tertiary health institutions, we don't have even some basics like radio.
You know, NHIS, you look at NHIS, it's falling to social work. So by now, I was thinking they will design a kind of way that every Nigerian will be covered on that health scheme, because it's a very vital area that if all of us are covered, because health is not what we all plan for. If it degenerates, it's not when you start rushing. There should be a first opportunity to really get attended to. If you go to all these developed countries, in fact, as you are going in, your health scheme is what you must subscribe. Their health scheme, you must subscribe to it. So I think what we think now, let all of us be, either we work in private or government, let us all of us be covered in this NHS. Even though the NHIS also have the limit of coverage, but let us have that basic opportunity to access health. I think that's what will solve the problem.
All right, thank you so much. Now we are still talking Nigeria as 63. So, Dr. Ali, what is the way forward?
Well,
how can we make progress as a nation? Because 63 years is a long way. If you were to describe Nigeria in personal terms, what do you expect from a 63-year-old man?
A 63 years country by now should have gone beyond in terms of economic and welfare of citizens. We have developed in terms of shape and size, but have we developed in terms of human development? So we should now take human development and social infrastructure as something that is very, very important, such as, like we said, health and education. Any country that have these two, you understand, would have that developmental at least start a good start. However, what is our major problem in Nigeria today? Ask me. It is security and economy.
Yes.
So if you can get it, it's just a major problem.
And rampage.
Good economy is a function of good security. So if you don't have good security, because foreign direct investment will not come to a volatile. In fact, it is said that it's only 10 states in Nigeria that is good fit for foreign direct investment. So about 20, that should be 27 are not fit. Can you imagine? So that means 27 states in Nigeria are not fit for investment according to a report. That's a serious. So we must find a way to do, and perhaps most people that even producing in Kebbi, Samfara, even Plateau, it's not to produce that is a problem. The insecurity is the major problem. They cannot access, their farmland, let alone harvesting and bringing it to the market. You even go some area, you see their produce rotten. You understand? And that's the problem. So we must find a way of make sure that these people are secure to farm and do what they are supposed to do.
Okay. So what is the way forward? I say ask you, what is the way forward?
The way forward is to strengthen our security, to make sure that we have the right security in place. Another way forward is to make sure our economy is very, very robust, because we have what we call flip-flop policy somersault when it comes to economies. So our monetary policy and our fiscal policy must be strategic and must be intentional. Recall that even the new CBN governor practically told the National Assembly that for me, I will not go out of the major or acts that establish CBN. That means he will not go and be doing the work of Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Investment, BOI. If you look at the issue of giving anchor borrowers, it's fall under the purview of Ministry of Agriculture. So giving money to manufacturing sector also fall into BOI. So why should CBN not giving them this opportunity to establish? But they went
many people are
and they want to recover the money now.
The former president actually gave him that tax to do.
Well, that's why I said they are not allowing them to do their function. I think Tinubu is more informed. He won't stoop so let me not say stoop so low to go ahead and be allowing CBN governor to be engaging in giving out money through, is it nicer and what have you.
And that reminds me, just like what you said, they want to get the money back, and the deadline has actually gone. I hope President Tinubu is aware of this.
I think it will be pretty difficult to get such money back, because it's about structure. Why would you wait till today? Remember, as a human being, when you have access to money, you tend to spend the money. So but when there's a structure that said after 6 months we evaluate you, you must have this is your moratorium, you start paying back. That's how it should be. Not after 5 years they say I should come and pay the money. It's pretty difficult. And I don't
these are the farmers, rice farmers that actually procured 100 million from for the former CBN governor. So where did they get the money?
You are even going far. Even the pyramid and what have you. Well, the thing is,
yes, and the pyramid.
And the pyramid. So that, but if you look at Tinubu 8-point agenda, one of the points there is access to capital.
Okay.
Now, if you have given access to capital to farmers, and farmers have gone through anchor borrower over time, and they cannot return the money. So what's the structure now that if you even give capital out, you understand? Because for me, I canvass for access to capital that you don't even need to have a forward structure, because the bank will always tell you where is your house, where is your land. If you don't have a land, you can't go. What about people with intellectual property? How will you know? So I now say that government should decipher a means. Either your traditional ruler stand for you, or your NYC certificate stand for you. A lot of little things that you help MSME to get fund. Our fintech now, most of them cannot even get that capital to bring to bear their knowledge. So we must think how to really help people with intellectual. Look at Elon Musk, look at Facebook.
Yes.
Their government are intentionally supporting them to get fund. You understand? And to go, and that's why they scale up to the global world. So we must start scaling up our people that are doing well.
Now Nigeria at 63 now, and Nigeria's naira is 1,000. It's more than 1,000 now to
It's
a
more than
dollar.
1,000
To a dollar. How is there any way we can retrace that?
Well, like I always said, there's a wrong implementation of floating the naira and also removing subsidy. So now the thing is, and I'm happy when I saw the news that there's Tinubu is
giving deadline
for worry and
because
that's the safe haven that we'll have. If not for this, the dollar will keep increasing. Remember now there is a subsidy already. I don't know if you know.
Yes, but the federal government still tends to deny it.
That's how they used to do it now.
But there was a story report that was captured, and it was really
but it's clear now. The global cost of crude oil has increased.
Nigerians ought to be paying more.
Dollar is 1,000 for fuel. So where are they pushing it? You understand? And you remember, even the clear one is that NNPC also went to get money from Afrexim Bank. So that's still subsidy.
$3 billion.
So these are still subsidy. So I don't know. So we are there already. And for us, you don't bring the two at the same time. It's a two different thing that you must not because you need dollar to buy fuel, right? So now the dollar has skyrocketed. The removal of subsidy has been removed. So how do you want to balance it? So I think that's the problem, and that's why manufacturing sector is crying. Do you see what happened to manufacturer? They have produced. It is on the market, but it is unsold. People are not buying it. Do you know what that simply means? It simply means Nigeria doesn't have purchasing power to buy things from them, and those things are going to get rotten, and these people will be at the receiving end. And what will happen in the long run? It will result to unemployment in Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Well, viewers, in case you're just joining us, the program is Inside Nigeria, your breakfast show on leadership television. And with me, the studio has been a political economist, Dr. Aliu Elias. Thank you so much. Now we are still on the issue of Nigeria as 63 independence. Now the labor force, the labor sector, the organized labor, they have been proposing strike to go tomorrow, that is October 3rd. And fortunately, the federal government has waded in and has increased wage allowance to 35,000 naira, even though the earlier announced figure of 25,000 was rejected by Labour. So what are we going to expect? Is that 35,000 naira you think is okay?
First and foremost, we are not clear if Labour will go to strike or not. Because from what they said yesterday, that they are going to meet their organizations and decide today. However, if Labour, I began to have issue with Labour in the sense that Labour actually, sometimes it looks to me that they are fighting for their pocket, and they are like 10% of workers in Nigeria. So what about private sectors? What about one-man business that will also go to the same market? So my own issue is that I think Labour should hinge more on having infrastructure that will bring us to development, such as the CNG. Up to now, no CNG in Abuja. So they said they have agreement with NPC and NIPCO. We want to see it operational. So Labour should go beyond the wage, because if you have this wage also, it will still be eroded by the cost of things in the market.
Exactly. So that's now have more money purchasing.
Exactly. So they need to look for lasting solution, economic solution that everybody will benefit from.
Thank you so much. That's our takeaway.